হাই দেয়ার, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আজকে আমাদের পডকাস্টের অতিথি হচ্ছেন মাসুদুর রহমান, ইজান স্কুলের প্রাক্তন ছাত্র, আমাদের আমাদের একজন সফল ছাত্র। আমরা আজকে মাসুদুর রহমানের কাছ থেকে কথা শুনবো, তার সাফল্য, কষ্ট এবং তার তার এই জার্নি সম্পর্কে জানার চেষ্টা করব এবং তার সাথে আমরা আলাপচারিতা করব। মাসুদুর রহমান, thank you for coming to the studio.
Assalamualaikum Jahid bhai, and thanks again for introducing me. Jahid বলছে যে আমার নাম মাসুদ। সো আমি ইজান স্কুলে DevOps কোর্সে করি। It is about 4 months. And so right now I'm working as a cloud DevOps engineer. We're going to discuss a lot of things. So inshallah, hopefully the podcast will be really nice and informative.
Yeah, no, thank you. And it's a pleasure for me to have you here, honestly speaking, because it's একটা exciting journey. আমি মনে করি যে our audience should know. One of the reason is the journey আপনি যেটা make করছেন, it was not easy. It was tough, right? So এইটা আসলে পডকাস্টের উদ্দেশ্যটা আসলে পিওরলি টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড যে আপনি কোথা থেকে আসছেন, কিভাবে আপনার জার্নিটা হইল এত দূর, এবং এর মাঝে আসলে অনেক চড়াই উতরাই আপনাকে পার হইতে হয়েছে, যেটা আই থিঙ্ক রাজসাক্ষী বলতে পারেন আমি, রাইট? সো আমি বা আপনার আশেপাশে আরও যারা অন্যান্য মানুষজন ছিল, রাইট? So I think it's inspiring. To me, it's inspiring. For many other folks, it can be inspiring. So আপনি যদি আমাদেরকে একটু বলতেন আপনার পড়ালেখার বিষয়ে, আপনি কোথায় পড়ালেখা করছেন বা কিভাবে আপনার পড়ালেখা সম্পর্কে একটু বললে মনে হয় সবার জন্য ভালো হয়।
জি শিওর। সো একাডেমিক্যালি আমি বাংলাদেশে ইন্টারমিডিয়েট শেষ করি। সো ইন্টারমিডিয়েট শেষ করার পর দেন আমি বাইরে আসি বেসিক্যালি পড়াশোনা করার জন্য। সো আই ওয়াজ ইন সাইপ্রাস অ্যান্ড দেন জার্মানি. So I finished my bachelor in business administrations. So I finished there. I was in Europe for about 7 years. তারপর জার্মানিতে যখন পড়াশোনা করতেছিলাম, পরে হঠাৎ করে চিন্তা করলাম যে maybe I should move out to an English speaking country. So then এদিকে আসলাম। So এদিকে আসার পরে আমি just looking for different opportunities. Then I was never thought of IT because my background was in business. And in Bangladesh, like you have to be a science student to go for any I don't know, I wanted to study in IT, but I didn't have science background. What was our thoughts? So I couldn't go for IT or any other science related subject. So once I came here, so সবাই থেকে শোনা শুরু করলাম যে IT course, QA course. আর তখন আমি শুধু QA জানতাম, অন্য কিছু জানতাম না। সো দেন আমার একটা পরিচিত ভাইয়া ছিল, তো ওদের একটা কোর্স স্কুল ছিল। সো আমি ওদের সাথে বুট ক্যাম্প করি একটা। ওদের করার পরে দেন ফর সাম রিজন ইট ওয়াজন্ট দ্যাট মোটিভেটেড ফর মি, সো আই ডিডন্ট go for the route. And then I decided to do another bachelor degree in IT actually. So I wanted to start from fresh. So দেন আমি কিউনিতে শুরু করলাম। দেন আমি কিউনিতে আমার ব্যাচেলর শুরু করি, দেন শেষ করলাম। আমার সাবজেক্ট ছিল ইনফরমেশন সিস্টেম ম্যানেজমেন্ট। সো আমার ফান্ডামেন্টাল ওদিকে একটু হয়েছিল আর কি, আই ডোন্ট লাইক প্রোগ্রামিং অ্যান্ড অল। সো ওইদিকে আমার বেসিক্যালি পাইথন 101 ছিল, অ্যান্ড C++ 101 ছিল, সাম ডেটা স্ট্রাকচার ক্লাস ছিল, ডেটাবেজের ক্লাস ছিল, ওইসব আর কি। বাট স্কুলে ইউ ডোন্ট লার্ন so much practically. You more theoretically and whatever needed to get good grade, right? So that was one of the goals. So I didn't think okay, I have to understand the full development in Python or C++ to get a job after I finish my degree. Eventually what happened after that. So bachelor শেষ করলাম। শেষ করার পরে দেন আমি গ্রাজুয়েট হায়ার হিসেবে একটা কনসাল্টিং ফার্মে ঢুকলাম। I don't name the consulting firm, that's one of the top consulting firm here. So then আমি শুরু করলাম ফার্স্ট রোল অ্যাজ এ বিজনেস অ্যানালিস্ট। ওইদিকে একটা প্রজেক্টে কাজ করলাম। দেন ওইটাতে কাজ করার পরে দেন ওই প্রজেক্ট শেষ হলো, দেন শুরু করলাম সিস্টেম অ্যানালিস্ট। তো ওইখানে কাজ করার পরে দেন সো সাম সর্ট অফ আইটি সম্বন্ধে একটা ভালো আইডিয়া হলো, যেহেতু BA basically like they get the requirements and they kind of have the idea about the whole project, what's going on in the company. So yeah, that was like part of like some journey how I started from school and then get my first job in IT.
Yeah, so like interesting, like আপনার যখন like you even went to college to do your bachelor here, and then তখনও আপনার প্রোগ্রামিং আপনার কোনো না কোনো মডিউলে ছিল, but it didn't make you feel excited, like
Not really. It was really making me not excited but anxious because কিউনিতে একটা প্রোগ্রাম আছে, like কিউনিতে আপনি চাইলে যে কোনো কিউনির কলেজে ক্লাস করতে পারবেন, right? So I took my C++ class at Baruch. So Baruch আমার C++ এর professor ছিল. He was really good. Like so কিউনিতে ক্লাস নেওয়ার আগে you check the ratings of the professor, right? So he was like base rating. So but he was a good, but আমার প্রোগ্রামিং এর জন্য তো আগ্রহ ছিল না. So I passed the course. Theoretically, yeah, I learned things, but like it was not enough for development. So yeah, it wasn't that interesting. But আমি যে বলছিলাম যে QA course করছিলাম. So এই QA course করার পরে, like even though I didn't go for QA job, but that actually gave me some sort of thing. Okay, maybe I can work in IT. So it was still a first like seed to go for my IT route, and then school শুরু করলাম, বেতন শেষ করলাম. So এটা ছিল এটা.
আইসি, মানে ওই প্রোগ্রাম করতে যাওয়ার পর আপনার কাছে মনে হলো যে না আসলে অনেকেই তো যেহেতু করতেছে, মানে মনে হয় যে আমার পক্ষে সম্ভব, রাইট?
হ্যাঁ, সো অনেকে পরিচয় ছিল যারা কোর্স বা মেবি তার সাকসেসফুল হয়েছে। ওইটা একটা রিজন ছিল ইভেন কোর্স এনরোল করার জন্য। তো ওই কারণে কোর্স শুরু করছিলাম। বাট ওই যে বললাম যে পরে চাইছিলাম যে না আমি এই রাউটে যাবো না, আমি অ্যাকচুয়ালি ব্যাচেলর শেষ করতে চাই। অ্যান্ড দেন ওই কারণে নতুন আবার স্কুলে ঢুকে আর কি। অ্যান্ড দেন সেকেন্ড ব্যাচেলর শেষ করে এখান থেকে।
Oh, I see. So you are double bachelor, right?
Yeah, I have two bachelor.
That's great. Great to have education. That's true. Like I definitely, eventually it helps, right? Eventually it helps. Money. We don't need degrees in IT. That's true, but having degrees from United States definitely helps, I think.
Yeah, since you mentioned that you don't need a degree for IT, so far all the interviews that I had, no one has asked me ever like which college you go to.
What is your CGPA?
Yeah, my GPA was good. So
no, did they ask you what is your
no,
CGPA?
They didn't ask for any GPA. Like কিছু জিজ্ঞেস করে, right? So they want to know like what you know, right? They just want to go by the job decision they have. They want to make sure that okay, you can perform the job, or even if you cannot perform the job, you have the ability to learn and apply. So they want to see that from yourself.
Right,
like,
right.
You don't have to like be expert and like because ওরা যে যখন job post করে, like they are posting something for like a perfect candidate, and both party knows there is no perfect job, and the job person knows there is no perfect candidate, and we know there is no perfect job. So there has to be some balance, right? If they can feel that okay, আপনি আসলে জবটা করতে পারবেন, or like at least new things গুলো learn করতে পারবেন, then they're okay with that.
I see. No,
but you need to give that assurance, like not by maybe by words, but maybe your expressions, your motivations will show that.
So I see. Yeah. So you need to prove you are technically expert. Same way, you need to prove that you are capable of carrying out their work.
True.
And capable of, I think, exploring new challenges. That's, I think, important. Right?
Yeah, that's really important. Yes.
But yeah, definitely we'll talk more about like your journey on interview process and things like that. I think we'll definitely talk on that. Let us know, how did you really grow like interest in cloud, right? Cloud computing or DevOps. এই রাউটে আপনার interest কিভাবে grow হইলো? Being you are in a business analyst and system analyst, which is like no relation with development or operations and things what we do, right? What you started doing.
Yeah, if I think that way, like it's a U-turn from BA was very like non-technical roles, and cloud DevOps is like super technical. So আমি যখন কলেজে ছিলাম, right? So I had an internship in cybersecurity, right? So I did my internship for about 6 months, and from there, like I was looking into different domains, because when someone say, okay, how can I get into IT? IT is not just a role; it's like whole ocean or umbrella, and under that umbrella, there are like so many like domains or field you can choose, right? Even like when we say cybersecurity or cloud, within cloud or cybersecurity, there's like a bunch of roles. So you just need to pick one role. So there were like আমি অনেক মানে খুঁজতেছিলাম, right? কোথায় যাওয়া যায়? So আমি cybersecurity internship করি, and then I was really like into cybersecurity. So আমি I finished a certification for CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker. Okay, another thing. So the first school that I did my QA, I went there again for like boot camp in cybersecurity in between, right?
Okay.
While I was after my internship in cybersecurity. So again, like maybe there was some lackings or my interest, it didn't work. So again, coming back to continue like learning more in cybersecurity. So I finished some other certifications like from Udemy থেকে security plus এর course করা or IBM cybersecurity analyst এর course করা। even আমাদের যে কোম্পানিতে মানে এমপ্লয়ীদের জন্য আমাদের পোর্টাল ছিল যেখানে আপনি করতে পারবেন লাইক বিভিন্ন কোর্স শিখতে পারবেন। সো আমি শেষ করতাম, টেস্ট করতাম, সার্টিফিকেশন পাইতাম। then they assured me, okay, like that they will help me to maybe get into another project or I can get into cybersecurity. So how আর কি ঢুকতেছিলাম আর কি। then so cybersecurity মধ্যে একটা ইন্টারেস্টিং পার্ট ছিল cloud security. So then I was like looking into that cloud security, right? And so there is a myth in cybersecurity. Like there is like whenever you look for cybersecurity job, they say okay, there is like they always say there's millions of jobs and stuff like this. But yes, there is so many jobs, but also there is so many candidates for those jobs for the entry level. To break into cybersecurity is really hard. So I was not able to like get like good amount of like interviews or anything in cybersecurity. And then somehow I met you. So I don't know if you remember like so before that, like I think we all both moved to Dallas like a couple months apart.
A month, I think 1.5
few months
apart,
yeah. And then like we just had like casual discussions on career. And I think that was in Epic, this Hispano
right here.
Center, right here where we are currently.
Close to this, yeah.
Like 5 minutes from here. So after Isha, like we were walking and like you're just giving your like like just thoughts on cybersecurity. And also like the one that I just discussed, like just কতটা tough ছিল যে ঢুকার ক্ষেত্রে, because and also like since আরেকটা perspective আপনি দিচ্ছেন right, cloud-এর মধ্যে right, we can get into cloud security, like that's also part of cybersecurity. So whenever I was thinking something, I was always trying to relate, okay, maybe if I can go into security, right? And then when you were talking about the DevOps, right, so I researched more into that after you said like all the positive things like how DevOps can help or like how it relates. So then DevOps like I don't know, there is different approach of security. Because if you learn cloud or AWS or any other cloud platform, Azure, so if you want to get into like cloud, you're already in cloud, and then you want to get into cybersecurity, okay, choose cloud security. Or you want to be into DevOps, okay, you're working as a DevOps, but if you are so much insecurity in your mindset, okay, apply the DevSecOps mindset. Then you're also like getting both world. You are getting the cloud and you're getting the security, right? So you are not being demotivated. Okay, I couldn't work in cybersecurity, right? So you're doing both. So I think that way that also helped. So I was trying to relate my interest and also the positivity of cloud. Like I felt like if you get into cloud, your doors are more open. You're not into like
narrow passage.
Yeah, you're not narrowing yourself in one opportunity, but if you're in a cloud, you can work as a DevOps engineer, you can work as a solution architect, you can work as a cloud developer, I don't know, cloud support engineer if you start from there. There's many roles like DevSecOps engineer, like wherever you want to go, right? There's so many options you can choose to. So I think that was one of the turning point. And again, like it's tech's always changing, right? Whatever techs we have used 10 years back, it's not here anymore. So the cloud is like cloud or AI, these are like some hot cake. So you're always trying to touch that hot cake in the market. So perspective, like job perspective wise, job security, job opportunity, I think cloud is a really like one of the good choice nowadays.
So was it like too hard for you to convince yourself to give up your dream on cybersecurity at that time? Like I remember you were too inclined to cybersecurity. Definitely cybersecurity, to my audience, cybersecurity is definitely, great area to start with and great area to explore. Brother Masud, he really had that intention, ichha chilo, and he invested time on it, right? But at that time when I spoke with him, I found he was not having a direction. He was not having a solid goal. Or actionable item, right? আমরা বলি যে একটা গোলে যদি পৌঁছতে হয়, we need some actionable item. যে if I do these 10 things, I'm gonna end up with this, right? So based on that conversation at Epic, So you can invite people to come to Epic. I always invite people come to Dallas and visit Plano, East Plano Islamic Center. So anyway, I think as you articulated this very right way, right? So I found him very inclined towards cybersecurity, but I didn't see he had enough plan to execute and become a security engineer by few months, or 5 months or 6 months, and as you mentioned, right, cloud security, right? Definitely, it's true that if someone enters into cloud, they have a lot of door opens.
Right.
But entering into this to some doors is important, right? So that's that makes some sense that you did your research to connect those dots, right? That's great. So that was one, I would say, one turning point that we discussed, and you took an attempt. I would say, like, we talk with this thing with many people. Not everyone can really translate this one into meaningful things in their life, right? So আমরা হয়তো অনেকের সাথে সেম জিনিস বিষয়ে কথা বলি, রাইট? বাট এটার মিনিং বুঝে এটাকে অ্যাকশনে ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করা আসলে সবার পক্ষে সম্ভব হয় না। So you did that part. So number one, that, like, what else like motivated you to really jump into, even you failed 2 boot camps. I won't say failed, you gave up 2 for some reason or other, and the 3rd boot camp now you are attempting to with a 3rd route. It is not the same route, it's a different route. And
so আপনি যেটা বললেন যে সো এটা আসলে যে কিভাবে লাইক হেল্প করছে, রাইট? সো এটাই আপনার যে ইন্টারেস্ট আছে এটার সাথে একটু কানেক্ট করা, লাইক ইফ ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু চুজ আ ক্যারিয়ার, লাইক ওয়্যার ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু গো, try to find some sort of interest that is not going to demotivate you like after 6 months, right? So it could be anything, it could be your money indications, a job prospect, job satisfactions, whatever it is. Just bring some few common elements that will actually help, right? So ওইগুলো যেমন আমি পাইছিলাম একটা, যেমন আমি বললাম যে আমার যে সিকিউরিটির যে অ্যাপ্রোচটা, ওকে, এখানে যেমন DevSecOps আছে or cloud security, like even if I don't work directly in cloud security, maybe also, like, when I was saying, okay, I want to work in cloud security, DevSecOps, all this, like, I knew the terms, but I didn't have the exposure, so I didn't know like what it's, like
how it looks like.
Right, exactly. So after talking to you, that was very clear, like what actually the scenario. Also, another thing that কোনো আপনার কোর্স বা ক্যারিয়ার চুজ করার আগে you need to find a real person who is actually working in that role that you want to be, right? So I wanted to be in security, but I had no direct connections with anyone who's working as a security engineer or security architect or whatsoever. So it hard to relate kora. So when I know like you're working as a DevOps or cloud engineer, so like that kind of gave me an impression. Okay, maybe I can follow or give some real life advice, like mentoring, right? So you need to find a mentor or like who can give you like real life advice, not just someone from YouTube who is showing you like like you're making all this and blah blah blah. Yeah, that helps, definitely that helps, but it's better. Your route will be much easier or more like actionable or plannable if you have someone in real life who can actually give you some advice, right? And when I say like find a mentor, it doesn't mean that mentor will like spoon feed you or give you a job. I see like so many like different I'm not naming any school or anything, but just there's so many people that advertise, okay, it's very funny, like you don't even have to like know how to use keyboard, but you can still work in IT. But that's just like how that advertising is. But yeah, so if we can really like connect and find some real person who can mentor us or give some advice, that really turning point. And few other things you mentioned, like the job prospect was good, so I actually checked, right? I checked on the job opportunities. How's the market for like DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, or cybersecurity engineer, and against those opportunities, like how many candidates are in the market. Right? I was doing my research, and since I was in a consulting firm, like I also spoke to like the managers that we have there, like how is the opportunity in like South this region or that region for cloud security or cloud or other technologies. So that was also so I was getting also real life or like real information from the market, like what is driven in the market or what opportunities exist currently. So those things actually like helps. Also like when I said like since you're already working as a cloud, so I knew, okay, since you made it like I should be able to make it too. So that was some sort of turning point. Yeah, definitely. Another thing that lastly I believe like um, I wouldn't say that I failed in QA or bootcamp in security. That was like lesson learned, right? Because as I mentioned in the earlier, like there is so many like roles or domain in the IT. So until you go into that, like you cannot like you cannot know like what does this domain look like. So যেহেতু আমি কয়েকটা ডোমেনে অলরেডি টাচ করছি এক্সপ্লোর করছি নাও I can say okay which domain looks like what. So that actually helped me like to actually make the decisions. And when I was working as a BA, so as a BA like we are interacting with almost everyone from the Scrum team, like QA developer, security team, DevOps team, right? So we know, I kind of knew like what people are doing. So that also helped when I was also doing the courses or internship. So I could relate everything. So all these things combined like helped me to make the decisions. And then lately, finally, I think it's Rizq, right? So Allah's plan.
That's for sure. There is no doubt.
That's like we all believe in that. Like
this is always there implicitly,
Yeah.
right? Means I think you're talking to me now.
Yeah.
It has been defined many
Yeah,
days ago,
exactly.
and the way you'd have earned money and whatnot, it is defined. So there is zero doubt.
Yeah, আমার রিজিকে ছিল like এটা হইব, so আল্লাহ আমার সব রাউট ঘুরে তবে এখানে নিয়ে আসছে,
Yeah.
because he thinks like that's the best for me.
But one thing
yeah.
also need to understand, right? আপনাকে আমাকে আসলে we have to do our part.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right. So all these things you have done, effort you made, actually you have done your part.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. And then you have been rewarded with what you have now.
Yeah.
Right. So that's great. So, let's talk about like I think I can relate, and I definitely remember this conversation, right, I had with you in the parking lot most likely.
Yeah, I think.
And I gave you some time to think and do research and then talk to me.
Yeah.
Right? You were middle of like, should I do or not? And then it's about time and all that stuff, right? You have also work and things like that. But I think it was worth. I believe like the conversation, the time I spent at that time was worth. It was definitely. I think I never had or have this type of psychology to মানে কাউকে আমি একটা জিনিস বলতেছি, it doesn't have a goal যে you have to turn into this, right? এক একজনের সিচুয়েশন এক এক রকম থাকে। সো আপনি যদি ডিপলি একজনের সিচুয়েশনটা না বুঝেন, it is extremely hard to guide. So recently I spoke with one of a client or someone you can think of just came to me to get some suggestion or advice. You can take it, interpret it anyway, right? So I was talking to that client. He or she is having really good degree, studying in a very top university in this country, but came from like back home and also has like 6-7 years real world experience in some role, not in a development role, in some role, okay? And I just discovered the person is doing a program which is below the person's capacity. And then I asked যে আপনি কেন এটা করতেছেন, আমাকে কয়েকটা রিজন বলেন। One of the reason the person says to me যে জব মার্কেট তো খারাপ, some of my friends or some of my known people, they suggested me to do this program. I said আপনি কি আপনার ক্যাপাসিটির উপরে জাস্টিস করতেছেন? If a person is 6-7 years in, let's say, BA or data analyst or this type of role এ কাজ করে এবং সে যদি এমন একটা জায়গা চুজ করে যেটাতে আসলে টাফ, the market is tough, everyone knows and think is something under the person's capacity, for example, right? So that person was not able to answer যে আমি কেন করতেছি এটা, right? So আপনি যদি একটা জিনিস করতে যান, আপনার কাছে আসলে সলিড রিজন থাকতে হবে,
Yeah, right.
যে আপনি এটা কেন করতেছেন। Otherwise, because these journeys are tough, right? It takes time, it takes energy. It's not like always happy path. There are bad times, right? There are good times. So yeah, anyway, adding to that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you don't have proper guidance, then you could waste your time and then come out like after a year, oh, what happened?
Yeah, one thing you mentioned, right? The video and mentors. So this is how I say, my personal opinion, right? The videos can't talk. It's a one-way communication.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening to today, you are just listening. You cannot talk to me or you cannot talk to this brother. Human has capability to think. And based on what you are saying, the human can respond. A video can't.
Mm-hmm.
So it will take a long time for a video to replace a human, which they cannot actually. Right? Now we are building all those cool things, but still human is valuable, right? The diverse way a human can think, a machine or a video or a recorded things, this can be a supplement. You still need someone to guide. It can be friends, it can be your senior, it can be your junior, it can be your brother or sister, doesn't matter, but someone you can trust and someone who has knowledge. It can be someone paid, you are paying them for their mentorship, but almost I think still me, I choose mentors. If I choose something very new out of my box, which I am doing, we launched that recruiting firm, and I have my mentor to be to launch my recruiting firm.
Yeah, I mean, এটা অনেক সবসময় হেল্প করে, লাইক ইট ইভেন হেল্প করে আপনার মোটিভেশন বা সামনে আগে যাওয়ার জন্য। সো আপনি তো যদি জানেন যে ওকে সেম জিনিসটা, সেম কোর্স বা সেম কারিকুলাম বা সেম প্ল্যান ফলো করে কেউ সাকসেস হয়েছে, you need to see that person like really, right? Then maybe like, okay, you want to follow his footstep. But you may know, like, for every like every profession there is someone successful, but you don't know them personally. Like, so when you're doing some boot camp, so you want to see someone in person that can guide you or tell me, okay, I have done this by following this, so if you do this, you can be not me but someone similar, closer, something. So you need that person in real life. Yeah, that's what I just wanted to add with your point.
Yeah, so let's talk about like your journey, right? So যেহেতু technologically everything was almost new, right? Like how was that time, like beginning time টা কিরকম ছিল আপনার?
Okay, so yeah, যখন আমরা ক্লাস শুরু করলাম একজন স্কুলে, DevOps ক্লাস শুরু করলাম, so
another thing is that I want to add here, right? You did not the 6 months program, you did 4 months program.
Yeah, that was 4 months
professional program,
right? Yes, 4 months,
and mostly designed for someone who in like development or maybe who has done QA 2 years, 1 year. That was the entry requirement. And based on the conversation and motivation I saw with you, I have said, no, we can remove this restriction for him and let's try 2-3 weeks or 1 month with him, right? So like again, so I would say like that was an exception because you didn't know any programming language at that point. Like there was no evidence you were able to produce, right? We looked for GitHub and all that, right? So you didn't do it, so how can you show that? So I find like you definitely face something, but explain me from your perspective, how was that journey at the beginning?
Yeah, অবশ্যই জার্নিটা ইজি ছিল না। I think আমাদের প্রথম ক্লাস ছিল সম্ভবত ম্যাটের সাথে লিনাক্সের ক্লাস।
It's like a second class.
Yeah, I think I mean first class ছিল আপনার সাথে ওই যে জাস্ট রোডম্যাপ নিয়ে, বাট অ্যাকচুয়াল ক্লাস আই থিঙ্ক লিনাক্স শুরু হয়। সো দ্য ফান্ডামেন্টালস আর লাইক ফর DevOps like Linux, networking, scripting, Python, and then you go to cloud, any cloud you choose. So I think আমার মনে আছে ম্যাটের সাথে আমাদের 4টার মতো মনে হয় লিনাক্স ক্লাস ছিল, 4-5টা। সো আমার before our basic Linux ছিল like for cybersecurity, like for different things, but when you have like 4 actual full class of Linux, I don't know অনেক কিছু, right? So first class was nice because you had some familiarity, and then from second, third, fourth, it was tough. But it just, so আমার মনে আছে লাইক আমি যখন স্কুলে ছিলাম বাংলাদেশে, আমাদের প্রিন্সিপাল স্যার বলছিল, হেডমাস্টার প্রিন্সিপাল আর কি, কলেজের প্রিন্সিপাল, আমাদের এসে ইন্টার আগে মানে বলতেছিল টেস্ট পরীক্ষার পরে আর কি, যে মানে আল্লাহ সবারই ব্রেন দিছে, রাইট? বাট হয়তোবা কেউ শেষ যখন শুরু করে, কেউ 4 ঘন্টা পড়লে তার মুখস্থ হয়ে যায় সব কিছু, আবার কেউ 1 ঘন্টা পড়লে মুখস্থ হয়ে যায়, বাট মুখস্থ হবে দুজনেরই শেষ হবে। যদি এখন আমার হয়তোবা আমি অন্য জায়গাতে ভালো, আমি ক্লাউডে ভালো না বা নেটওয়ার্কিং ভালো না, অন্য টপিক্সে ভালো না, তো আমি যে টপিক্সে ভালো না, মেবি যে ভালো সেই স্পেন্ড করতেছে 2 ঘন্টা, আমার করতে হবে 6 ঘন্টা। বাট উই বোথ ক্যান গো টু দ্যাট ল্যান্ডমার্ক, মেবি জাস্ট নিড টু স্পেন্ড সাম টাইম। সো ওইটা হয়েছে আর কি। তো আমি যেটাতে টপিকে ভালো ছিলাম না বা যেটাতে সময় লাগছে পিক আপ করতে, সো আমি ক্লাসে যে ছিল ম্যাথের সেশন ছিল ওটা ফলো করছি, প্লাস আই ইউজ টু অলসো use external resources to combine or like find other like way how I can understand things better. So ওগুলো অনেক হেল্প করছে, বাট প্রথম দিকে খুব টাফ ছিল। তারপরে যখন দীপ ভাইয়ের সাথে পাইথনের ক্লাস ছিল, ও ম্যান ওটা it was too much for me. So yeah, then picked it up. It's not that, so এটাও একটা যে এমন না যে আপনি 4টা লিনাক্স ক্লাস করলেন, 6টা লিনাক্স করলেন, 10টা লিনাক্স ক্লাস করলেন, বা পাইথনের ক্লাস করলেন 1 মাস, you will be like Python developer or something. But এটা আপনাকে একটা ফাউন্ডেশন দিবে যে how to learn it or how to find things like how to look up, because যদি আপনি 10 বছরের এক্সপিরিয়েন্স ডেভেলপার হন, you will like still look up things online, always you look up things. So এটা একটা যে সো ওই যে ফাউন্ডেশনও দেওয়া আর কি, প্রথমে খুব টাফ ছিল, বাট এটা আর কি প্রতিদিনই ডিমোটিভেটেড, লাইক আফটার 1 মাস পরে মনে হয় আমার প্রত্যেক ক্লাসের আগে চিন্তা করতাম আজকে ঢুকবো না ইউনো। অ্যান্ড সো আর যখন যে আমরা প্রবলেম সলভ করতাম, আমাদের গ্রুপে অনেকজন ছিল, আমরা আই থিঙ্ক 7-8 জন ছিলাম প্রথম দিক দিয়ে। যখন আমরা শুরু করতাম, অনেক কিউ থেকে আসছে, আমি আসছি শুধুমাত্র বিয়ে থেকে। আই থিঙ্ক অনেক কয়েকজন ভাই ছিল যে অলরেডি সে কিউতে জব করতেছিল, রাইট? সো দে অলরেডি হ্যাড দ্যাট লাইক exposure to the queue environment, which I didn't have like hands-on, because I came from BA থেকে আসছিলাম, রাইট? তো ওই ক্ষেত্রে লাইক একটু কভার করতে সমস্যা ছিল, বাট ইভেনচুয়ালি লাইক জাস্ট একটু বেশি সময় স্পেন্ড করতে হয়েছে, রাইট? ওইগুলো পিক আপ করার জন্য। বাট এটা ইজি না, রাইট? এটা যে আপনার কিবোর্ড পারলে হবে, ঠিক আছে? You need to know more than learning keyboard. So ওইটা আর কি।
Yeah, you are lucky that we didn't put that type of requirement of keyboard.
I mean,
there's I like the good part is like even you had that feelings, you took the challenge, right? I think we used to say one thing, that as long as you can cover 70% of the class, you are still with us.
yeah.
If you cannot cover 70%, we have to raise the bell, right? Because we don't expect you cover 100%. It's not technically possible.
Right.
And based on the student, we increase the bar, right? You remember there was a standard curriculum, and then on top of that, if someone is doing better, we supplement them with more resources, right? It's just to make a proper justice to the brain, right? Because some people has higher capability to learn. And in this space, right, in the space of cloud, there is so many things to give, right? So if someone is curious, this is my philosophy, right? If someone is curious, someone is putting effort to learn more, we do not want to restrict them to our curriculum. We wanted to go above and beyond the curriculum, right? So if someone is like let's say Masud, initially he was struggling, he was definitely finding difficulties, as he mentioned, right? But we can't just force him, right? So that 70%, 60% pick up করতে পারলে যেটা হয় যে পরের ক্লাসটা পিক আপ করা যায়,
right.
না হয় you cannot relate,
Yeah.
right? So
I mean, এটা ডিফিকাল্ট, রাইট? ডিফিকাল্ট দেখে ইটস রিওয়ার্ডিং। সো যদি এটা ইজি হতো তাহলে সবাই করতো, রিওয়ার্ড এত বেশি থাকতো না। সো ইভেন লাইক যদি কোর্স শেষও হয়ে যায়, ইভেন ক্লাস শেষ হয়ে যায়, লাইক ইউ মে ফিল লাইক ইউ ডোন্ট নো এনিথিং, রাইট? বিকজ ইটস এ ভাস্ট
it's a
টপিক,
tip of the iceberg,
রাইট?
actually.
এক্স্যাক্টলি। ক্লাউডের মধ্যে লাইক maybe AWS has like over 500 services. I don't know.
Yeah, it's 200-300 services,
Yeah.
and there are
Other sub-services. Like same goes for Azure. So you're not learning all the services. You're learning based on your goal, the core service that you need to learn to get your job done, right? So it's a goal, okay. So you just need to know how to learn. Not that's one of the things that you need to get out of this course, or like no one can. Another disclaimer or anyway, like even though I went to this school, but it's not that they can feed you and give you like job in your hand, right? They can.
No, we can't. We never.
No one can do that, right?
Yeah. If someone promised that,
yeah,
then it's a red flag.
You're the one who'll apply, face the interview and get the interview and make sure that you are doing everything right. They will guide you. And if you have any questions, I think I need to mention about the interview since it's came up here. So remember, like I had an interview with Amazon.
Definitely, yeah.
So it is still actually. So okay. So যেহেতু you mentioned like আমি অলরেডি কাজ করতেছিলাম, রাইট? আই ডিতে ছিলাম অলরেডি। সো আমি অন এন্ড অফ ছিলাম ক্লাস শেষ হওয়ার পরে, অ্যাক্টিভলি মার্কেটে ছিলাম না। সো কারণ আমার ওই যে ওইটা ছিল না যে আমার জব পাইতে হবে এখন আগে, কারণ অলরেডি একটা কিছু একটা আছে আর কি। সো ওইটার কারণে যখন সুযোগ পাইছি অ্যাপ্লাই করছি, আবার করি না এমন আর কি। তো যখন যে অ্যামাজন অ্যাপ্লাই করলাম ওইটার জন্য, ওই ক্লাউড সাপোর্ট ইঞ্জিনিয়ারের জন্য, তো ওই রোলটা আমি এর আগে অনেক ইন্টারভিউ দিয়েছি, মানে অত বেশি ইয়া হয় নাই, মানে স্ট্রেসফুল ছিলাম না কিছু, মানে নর্মাল ছিল। বাট আমি ওইটার ফাইনাল রাউন্ড পর্যন্ত গেছিলাম, রাইট? ওই ক্লাউড ইঞ্জিনিয়ার
So
সাপোর্ট
you
ইঞ্জিনিয়ারের জন্য।
finished like online screening.
ইয়া, দেন ট্যাগ স্ক্রিন।
You finished, I think. Then you went for the 4 rounds.
ইয়া, আমার প্রথমে ছিল 2 ঘন্টা অনলাইন স্ক্রিনিং, দেন একটা ছিল ওরা বলে ফোন ইন্টারভিউ, ওটা ছিল 1 আওয়ার। ওটা
Total 6 steps you
yeah
faced, I think.
yeah then the final round was loop interview, which is like 5 hours interview. And that like even though that was cloud support engineer role, but ওইটা actually যত আমার যে স্পিডগুলো লুজ করে ফেলছি, it brought all my speed back. It helped me to back me to the track. So ওইটার পর আবার শুরু করলাম। দেন আবার যখন কোর্স তখন মার্কেটে ইয়ে ছিল, লাস্ট 1 year একটু মার্কেটে অত বেশি যে ভালো এমন না, বাট ইটস পিকিং আপ। তো ওই সময়টা আর কি অনেকে মানে আমরা তেমন আর কি হিউম্যান নেচার। So we expect, okay, we finish the course, now I have to get a job like next month. If I don't get it, like then let's blame someone. Okay, not blame me, but someone. So but yeah, ওই ইন্টারভিউটা দেওয়ার পর অনেক মানে আরো বেশি মোটিভেট হয়েছিলাম। দেন আবার শুরু করলাম, I was keep posting about my updates and applying the interview stuff. But yeah, that really helped. And also ওইটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি আবার সেই ব্রাশ আপ করার জন্য হেল্প করছে, বেসিকগুলো আগে যা যা করছে কোর্সের মধ্যে। So it like you do course, you learn things. So I think there is sayings.
Yeah, since you were saying about Amazon interview, right, I need to ask you some question here, right? I remember, right? So, like at the beginning, when like আপনি কি নিজে চিন্তা করছিলেন আপনি অ্যামাজনে অ্যাপিয়ার করবেন যখন কোর্স শুরু করছেন?
Never.
ইভেন যখন ইন্টারভিউতে গেছেন আপনি কি নিজে চিন্তা করছেন?
না,
করেন নাই, রাইট? So I think you saw this advertisement and then you spoke with me, I think, right? And then we send you a referral and then you got the call and all that stuff. But it was very intense time for you.
It was
very intense time, right? A month, I think it took a month to finish all this screening and the round and one after that, right? And I think you didn't face a second interview like that.
No. So that interview, so even like sometimes if I find after that interview, like আমার যদি আমি ইন্টারভিউ বেশি ফ্রেন্ডলি পেতাম, আমি বলতাম, you know, like I had an interview with Amazon, and he would say you'll be good here because then they know, because some people know how was the Amazon bar. So যদি 5 ঘন্টা ইন্টারভিউ আপনি সার্ভ করে থাকেন, then you can survive 1 hour interview. So
yeah, so usually the most of the regular companies won't be taking your 5 hours interview.
No.
Right, it's very rare. It will be like, except Fang, right? Maybe few other companies can do, which maybe I don't know. But most of the average or regular company outside Fang, they won't be taking 5 hours interviews.
True.
So if you, that's a, you know, we usually say battle tested. Something need to be battle tested before it goes to production, right? So if you have appeared, you know, if you have passed Amazon screening and then online test, that means you are halfway battle tested for the regular interviews. And then if you go for full round, I think you are now fully battle tested. Whether you passed or fail, I think it's not a big deal. Like because he didn't go through the final, he didn't get the offer, right? Masud didn't get the offer, but I think you learned a lot, right?
Yeah, I went to the loop interview, which was 5 hours you mentioned, with Don Exilo. So I mean that was a learning opportunity, really.
Yeah, so there are like, I would say, multiple different types of learning you went through. One is preparing yourself, right? So when someone prepares for Amazon interviews, there is a different process. There is a standard Amazon process, which is open in online. You can Google and find. I'm not leaking anything from Amazon. I'm keeping my NDA. So again, but this is the same learning thing, you know, knowledge you can apply everywhere.
Exactly.
Right? The leadership principles you went through, right? And I think the leadership principle is not only, you know, I'm talking about Amazon leadership principle, is not only like applicable to a job. I think it also many times
personal life
to the life, right? And then you can apply the same thing to other jobs. It's a standard. And then if you can follow this standard when you go to other interviews, you are right. Even you don't get Amazon, but you are.
এটা বেটার করে দে সি লাইক ইউ আর কামিং ফ্রম সামওয়্যার লাইক ইউ নো থিংস রাইট সো ওইটাই সো অ্যাকচুয়ালি ওই অ্যামাজন ইন্টারভিউটা আমাকে হেল্প করছে লাইক ক্লাউড ইঞ্জিনিয়ার ও ডেভঅপস ইঞ্জিনিয়ার রোলের জন্য প্রিপেয়ার হওয়ার জন্য বেসিক্যালি ইন্টারভিউ প্রিপেয়ারের জন্য সো এটা একটা টার্নিং পয়েন্ট ছিল এটা ডেফিনেটলি আলহামদুলিল্লাহ তো ইয়া
I see. Yeah, no, that's great. I was a little bit optimistic that you will break it. I think you are our second candidate who went to Amazon. We had another software engineer from, we have another venture where we only, support people for FANG or MENG interviews.
Yeah. I think Allah had better plan. I think my current role is better than
no, that engineer also actually failed, unfortunately. He had a good interviews. He went to the final round. He finished the screening and all that. But for some reason or other, the final round didn't turn into those who knows the complex process of, selection process in Amazon is not very straightforward. It's complex. There are so many data point people need to find out and make sure that you meet the 100% bar and then you go over that, right? But again, that gives you a confidence.
Definitely.
Right? That gives you a confidence, right? So do you know, like now our program is not after your batch, right? After your batch, we started taking freshers in the DevOps program, right?
Okay.
It's like now we are now fully offering 6 months only for fresher. So people like you, if they come in, like when I say fresher means no development knowledge, right? They do not have to feel that pressure because we are resetting the button.
So how is the difference from our batch?
So your batch was DevOps professional. We ran it for 4 years.
Right. Four months. Oh, 4 years.
Yeah,
okay.
We ran that program for 4 years. When I turned into DevOps, I launched this program. That's the timeline. Back in, I think, early 2020. So at that time, like that program, we usually name it DevOps Professional, 4 months program, the one you appeared, right? And the prerequisite was you have to be, you have to know a programming language, you have to be in tech for a year or so, or maybe in a QA or any role. You have to have tech exposure before even you come into, right? But now, because the timeline is short, so we don't spend time on fundamental, very basic things of networking and Linux and all that, or API or maybe SQL and all that, right? So now we removed that bar. We said if you are, because based on the market demand, right? We said no, we would like to educate the freshers too, but you have to come through a long route. Now it is 6 months. So if someone is coming now, they start learning from zero. Like if someone is like fresh graduate, wanted to really start in a cloud journey, they don't have to get that pressure of that I really have to know something before I jump into the program. Now, again, definitely a person need to have a logical orientation, what the common criteria we have all the time, and the commitment and the ability, the drive, I would say, that I really wanted to explore this, and they have to prove some sorts of entry criteria, but there is no technical criteria we put at this point. And the course is now 6 months long. So it's a long time for us. Like it's more than 50 sessions, the classroom hours and things, classes, and then there will be office hours every 5 days. And then also, we are also asking a commitment from the students to be able to appear projects after this 6 months. So when they come after 6 months, after next 3 months, we expect them to do more projects, but that will be on a self-paced basis. Because during the training, the projects we do is like we cannot do 40 projects. We can do 10 or 15. That's what we promise usually. So if we do 10 or 15 different projects, the course is going to be over by that time. But যখন ইন্টারভিউতে যাবে, ইন্টারভিউ প্রিপারেশনের সময় we wanted to make sure they still work. যেহেতু cloud gives us a lot of opportunity, we can hand over them a lot of resources, saying that, hey, do this workshop or do this project by your own, get a feedback from our team if you need any feedback, if you need any help to accomplish this. That way we can equip, because over 3 months আপনি যদি 5টা প্রজেক্ট করতে পারেন আরো, that means আপনার পোর্টফোলিওটা বাড়তেছে, রাইট? আপনার রিজিউমিতে আপনি আরো সুন্দর করে লিখতে পারতেছেন যে this is what I am capable of. And then আপনি যখন ইন্টারভিউতে যাচ্ছেন আপনি আরো ইজিলি বলতেছেন. So like transforming someone slowly in a 0 to an advanced level. right? So that's how, like, I hope the pressure you got, the other folks may not get that at this point if they jump into that. So that's somehow different. It's a bit pricey or expensive for us because we now need to invest more time, and we have to have more people on board. More teachers, more mentors, more hours, right? It's a big work and
I
big
think এটা একটা
progress.
ভালো একটা উদ্যোগ because since I went to college here, so রিলেট করতে পারি যে কলেজ থেকে শেষ হওয়ার পর ব্যাচেলর শেষ হওয়ার পর জব পাওয়াটা একটু টাফ, রাইট? বিকজ ইউ ডোন্ট হ্যাভ লাইক মাচ এক্সপিরিয়েন্স অ্যান্ড অলসো সব কোম্পানিতে ফ্রেশ গ্রাজুয়েটদের জন্য যে রোল থাকে এমনও না। সো যদি এমন অপশন থাকে যে গ্রাজুয়েট হয়ে সে ঢুকতে পারবে এটার মধ্যে, লাইক can I start from zero to learn cloud? I mean, that's a good opportunity.
Yeah, so there are many other boot camps, they do it, right? We are not just new. They just extend the hours, right? And then আমাদের ক্ষেত্রে হচ্ছে যে this is something I went through personally. This curriculum is built on my experience, right? As you know, right, I did transfer to DevOps from QA by my own. I didn't get a mentor. I just choose my natural instinct because I had a capability to, I would say, identify what to do, what not to do. So I spoke with people. I outlined my passes. I did certification, and alhamdulillah, I had a job. I got a chance to work as a DevOps, and that opened all the door for me.
Right.
And jehetu I was teaching at that time, it was easy for me to build a curriculum for my own. So I built a curriculum for my own to be a DevOps. And then I jumped into, and these 4 years we ran this trial and error with multiple batches, which is 4 months professional batches. Now that's why we have now confidence to roll it out to mass people, general freshers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
So it's not like from out of the blue moon it came in and we started that, right?
Yeah, I tested the product, so
yeah, we it is battle tested, I would say. It is battle tested. The point is like people's time. So we wanted to allow people have more time to really learn, invest. And the main interesting factor is here, আপনি যদি মার্কেটে অনেক দিন থাকেন, let's say I think আপনি মার্কেটে ছিলেন how many months? Few months, 6-7 months or 8 months.
So
not really, means on and off, maybe or less, right?
I think on and off silam maybe 6 months, actively silam 2 months.
Okay, so actively, and in this bad market, right?
Yeah,
in this bad market, it's
yeah.
But again, the roles are open. So the thing is that, right? This is my perspective on this route, right? Even you are not getting job, if we can help you out to keep building your portfolio, eventually it's gonna be expensive. Because cloud is here to stay, it's not to go. It can go, maybe something drastic will come after 15 years, but at this point, all the companies, all these applications, people are moving into cloud.
Yeah.
For a single application to move into cloud, existing application, I worked in a migration project, it took 3 years. From mainframe to AWS, it took 3 years.
Yeah.
So for Netflix itself, Netflix had their own, what should I say, their own data center. I think they took around 7 or 8 years.
True. Yeah. Migrations projects is always longer. Yeah.
What I'm trying to point here, right? When companies investing time on migrating things to cloud,
Not to just go away.
Is not to go, even if they want to go away to a new technology. Let's say a miracle came, a new technology came, something cloud version 2, right? Something we just out of our imagination. That will also take some good amount of time for the companies to adopt. So if you are in the industry at this point, or you are trying to enter into industry, you understand if you have a cloud expertise, you are at least putting some sorts of safety net to your career for some good amount of time. It can be 5 years, it can be 10 years, it can be 15 years. Even it is not 30 years, but by the time the experience you will have a capability to switch to cloud version 2.
True.
If that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So even you don't get a job by 6 months, if you keep investing, having that, keeping that trust and confidence, this is gonna give you value, right? You need to think of something called ROI, right? Return in investment. আপনার যদি 30 মিনিট সময় থাকে, আপনি কোথাও দিলে হয়তো আপনার রিটার্ন আসবে এক্স, আবার কোথাও এই 30 মিনিট সময় দিলে আপনার রিটার্ন আসবে এক্স প্লাস ওয়াই। If you are a wise person, where you will invest?
Where I'll get more ROI, right?
X plus Y, right? The second option. So that's like someone who is definitely thinking of jumping into such thing, right? They really need to think this, the depth, the outcome it can bring, right? And the other thing is, I would say, the options, right? So like for this 6 months program we are now talking about, if someone, let's say, a very mediocre, so they may not reach into a mid-level, or they may not have a serious DevOps knowledge. They may not pick up by 6 months, per se. But they can still pick up cloud support engineer role.
True.
You have appeared those top-notch cloud support engineer interview, and you know how hard it is. It is not that hard. I know you didn't succeed, but you know the things they ask, right? So if Amazon is asking that type of questions to a cloud support engineer, and you can now relate what other company is going to ask you, which is never going to be above
more than that. Yeah.
99% cases it won't be more than that, right? So it is very much doable. So the program we are now thinking of, we are talking about that if you fail to be a DevOps engineer in this program, fine,
be a support engineer.
Doesn't matter. We have cloud support engineer role to put you in, and there are many of those roles available, right? And then if you do a little better and you are interested in going to cloud engineer role, that you can do too. So you have multiple door open. It's not just we run a program, we are talking in that way. We are talking about a fact. Do this program wherever you can. Learn cloud by yourself. If you need to learn cloud, let's say free, reach out to me, reach out to maybe this brother. He knows some tips and tricks to tell you that, hey, do these 5 things you can learn by yourself.
Yeah.
If you are really capable of doing it, right? There are some people, I usually say 5 to 10% people, they have a capability to learn by themselves from zero, right? Like আপনার কোনো prior knowledge নাই, কিছু নাই, আপনি একদম brand new একটা area explore করে ফেলতেছেন, right? But most of the people cannot do it.
Yeah, you need the drive.
They need someone to guide and help, right? So again, investing in this area is definitely beneficial, and I think you are an example. Okay, so let's talk something a little bit interesting, right? Imagine you go back to 1 year ago, right? Or 1.5 years ago, right? Or let's say at the time before the program, right? Is there anything আপনি ডিফারেন্টলি করতেন এখন যেটা মানে তখন যেটা করছেন?
যখন কোর্স শুরু করছি, যদি সেই সময়টাতে নিয়ে যাওয়া হয়, মেবি কিছু জিনিস চেঞ্জ করতাম, হয়তো বা নতুন কিছু অ্যাপ্লাই করতাম। কারণ তখন তো অনেক কিছু রিলেট করা যেত না। যখন আপনি বলতেন বা অন্য যারা ইনস্ট্রাক্টর ছিল যখন বলতো, লাইক ওটা জাস্ট বলতোই, আমরা ধারণা করতাম, কিন্তু বলার জন্য বলতো, রাইট? কিন্তু ওইটা কতটুকু এফেক্টিভ ওটা বুঝতে যাবে না আনটিল আপনি ওই সিচুয়েশনে পড়েন, রাইট? সো মেবি যেমন আমরা যখন যে আমাদের বেচের মোটামুটি সবাই যে লাইক যখন স্ক্রিপ্টিংয়ের ক্লাস ছিল, পাইথনের ক্লাস ছিল, লিনাক্সের ক্লাস ছিল, নেটওয়ার্কিং ক্লাস ছিল, আর স্ট্রাগল করতো, রাইট? সো ওই সময় অনেকেই মানে ফুল 100% দিত, অনেকে দিতে পারতো না, কারণ তারা পুরোপুরি বুঝতে পারতো না বা আরও সময় বেশি স্পেন্ড করতো না। সো আমি ডেভঅপস যে ফান্ডামেন্টালগুলো আছে, লাইক লিনাক্স, নেটওয়ার্কিং, স্ক্রিপ্টিং, সাম প্রোগ্রামিং, ওইগুলো অনেক বেশি ইম্পর্টেন্ট। সো ওই সময়গুলোর মধ্যে এগুলো বেশি একটু সময় স্পেন্ড করা, ওইটা শেখা, আর হ্যান্ডস অন করা বেশি, রাইট? আপনি সব কিছু পড়ে শেষ করতে পারবেন, বাট যদি আপনি হ্যান্ডস অন না থাকে, লাইক যদি আপনি কয়েকটা প্রজেক্ট না করেন, মেবি লাইক ইউ একটা প্রজেক্ট করছেন একবার, ওকে রিপিট দিস 1, 2, 3 টাইমস, সো আপনারা বেশি কমফোর্টেবল হয়ে যাচ্ছেন। সো যখন আপনি ইন্টারভিউতে কথা বলবেন, সো ইউ ক্যান, আপনি একেবারে প্রত্যেকটা যে এলিমেন্টস আছে, লাইক ইউ ক্যান সি দ্য ফুল পিকচার, ইউ ক্লোজ ইউর আইজ, ইউ ক্যান সি দ্য ফুল পিকচার অফ এ পাইপলাইন, রাইট? আমরা যে একটা ডাটা পাইপলাইন করছিলাম, ডাটা স্ট্রিমিং পাইপলাইনের প্রজেক্ট করছিলাম, or take any other CI/CD pipeline project. So if you do it multiple times or similar project few times, then actually like you can relate like ওরা যেখান থেকে কোয়েশ্চেন করুক না কেন like you can relate. So আমার যদি আবার প্রথমে নিয়ে যাওয়া হতো আমি বারবার করতাম লাইক এই ডাটা স্ট্রিম পাইপলাইনের প্রজেক্টে এখানে অনেক ছোট ছোট এলিমেন্টস আছে যখন
It's complicated.
big picture মনে হয় oh it just like high level it's just a project, right? But when you go deep into that there is so many elements that you can like even like যদি আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করে মেবি আমি পারবো না, রাইট? সো এটা আর কি। সো জিনিসটা হলো যে আপনার প্র্যাকটিস করা অনেক বেশি হ্যান্ডস অন করা আর ফান্ডামেন্টাল খুব ভালো শেখা। ইফ ইউ হ্যাভ দ্যাট ফান্ডামেন্টালস দেন ডাজন্ট ম্যাটার। লাইক ফর এক্সাম্পল আই থিঙ্ক আমি আর কথা বলছিলাম এটা নিয়ে অ্যামাজন ইন্টারভিউর আগে, যদিও এটা AWS ইন্টারভিউ ছিল, they were not looking for like to have your AWS cloud experience. What they wanted to have virtualization knowledge, and virtualization knowledge is like Docker is based on the virtualizations, right? So they didn't ask for okay, you have to have like Docker exposure, but they said you need to be like good at virtualizations, you need to be good at networking or containerizations. They didn't name a specific tool like okay, you have to know Kubernetes, but you need to know the concept, what like containerization is, like how to container the applications, how to deploy these things. So basic things গুলো খুবই ভালো করে ব্রাশ আপ করা, ওইগুলাই করতাম যদি সে আবার আগে নিয়ে যাওয়া হতো, যেগুলো আগে করা হতো না আগে।
Yeah, good one point you just mentioned, I think the project, right? We shouted, we screamed.
Yeah,
we became very upset, right? I think especially me, right?
I think ওই সময় সবাই অনেক ডিমোটিভেট হয়ে গেছে, কারণ because like when you come into a new problem, right? এটা মনে হয় ওকে আমি ক্লিক করলাম, then next like how install a software in a computer. It's not like that. You really have to think, and when you come in, like DevOps is all about like solving problem. That's why,
and connecting many dots.
yeah. So when you see logs and there is all the problems, from those logs you need to find the problems or like
Troubleshoot and go back and fix it.
I think DevOps is like okay, when you like do a pipeline, it's maybe like 2-3 days work building a pipeline.
Yeah,
after that,
now you're talking about a data pipeline. Let's be more specific, right?
Okay, let's see. I'm talking about the data streaming pipeline that we work. So to build a pipeline is not that hard because you know what to connect and you are just building the pipeline. But then when your data is not coming, why is not coming? So you need to have some exposure to database now, right? So now we're okay. Then all the services that we're like connecting, okay, why is not coming? So if you don't know the full picture in a nutshell, then it's hard to figure out. Like I think আপনি একটা example দিছিলেন যে আমাদের like from your ship, the pipe, all this thing on top of the ship, like and I think you asked one of my like our classmate like, have you ever fixed anything at your home? Like so, right? So if you don't know exactly like from where the water is leaking, you cannot like fix that. So when you're a DevOps engineer, a cloud engineer, or a site reliability engineer, if you don't know the full architecture or the full workflow of that, you can't really find out the problem. So these are really important, like to have that mindset to problem solve, right? We need to really learn problem solving skill within the DevOps environment.
Yeah, it's
that's
like,
the most needed thing.
Right. I remember the example you're giving. I think I showed you guys a chemical ships, pipes. It's one of the, in those who are in shipping, they can relate what I'm saying, right? In chemical carrier tanker ships, they have very complex pipes, so many pipes. And those who are on board, they can trace them. They can say which is going where, and there is a very easy way to find it out. It's not like it's not complicated to them. That's why they can fix it. But now if we put you there, you can't. So now if you're, let's say, brand new, what do? You take out the drawings. You read the workflow. You read the liquid flow. You read guidelines. And then now you trace out how to go from A to B, right? And I think almost anything we can explain, any problem, we can explain with this small example.
Right.
How to find a water leakage in your household, right? If you have to trace it out, you have to follow some procedure, right? Any problem, even your phone, in your computer, what you do? You solve a problem by, if you do not follow step-by-step procedures, when I say step-by-step procedure, it's not a checklist. I'm talking about a systematic procedure. রাইট? এইটার পরে কি হবে, আমার এখানে কালো দেখা যেতেছে, এখানে কেন সাদা দেখা যাচ্ছে না, এরপরে কি হবে, রাইট? এই যে প্রশ্ন করা নিজেকে, রাইট? যত বেশি আপনি নিজেকে প্রশ্ন করবেন এবং যৌক্তিক প্রশ্ন, অযৌক্তিক প্রশ্ন করতে পারেন, কিন্তু একটা সময় যে আপনার রিয়েলাইজ করতে হবে যে এই প্রশ্নটা অযৌক্তিক, যে
এটা বোঝা যাবে পরে আর কি, যখন ইউ হ্যাভ রিয়েল লাইফ এক্সপোজার,
right, like
অযৌক্তিক।
right, no, sometimes like, when you start troubleshooting, right, you have thought something which is wrong, which is fine,
Yeah.
because until unless you don't know the solution, you will think 10 direction,
Right.
but the 10 is not correct, one will be correct. So it doesn't mean that 9 direction you went was wrong,
Because that 9 brought you to
the
number
one.
10. Yeah.
Right, so that is something extremely important, right, in this space, right. And again, it is doable. You are not building a complex algorithm, you are not building large language model like ALM, or chat gpt. You are not building that, you are not going through that. We are talking, and like, so this is interesting. I need to talk a little bit more here, maybe to give more insight to the audience, right. It's not about when we say cloud, right, there are so complex things which I don't deal with, maybe not every cloud engineer deal with, or not every DevOps engineer deal with. There are people, they have a specialized area, right? For example, those who are maybe building those cool, and technically we are just an operator, that's what we say. Some people name us as engineer, and sometimes I feel ashamed. And we are engineer, we solve problem, but for example, the services you have used, did you make them, any of them?
No.
I take slight credit of that. I did work for AWS little bit. Yeah, so I worked for EC2 team before in AWS. So that's the builder team. They build those services what you use. And I used to be in a part of a security team where we used to build security tools. But the thing is that in general, right? In general, when you are saying that learn cloud computing, we are not asking you to build cloud computing.
সো
Right.
এই জায়গাতে আমি একটা অ্যাড করতে চাই। সো অ্যাগেন আগে বলছিলাম যে when you talk about IT or cloud, এটা অনেক বড় একটা umbrella. So you have to define actually, right? Like when you're in cloud, like there's like so many other roles, but which roles that we're taking or we'll be learning for. So we're specifically like choosing cloud engineer or DevOps engineer. So high level DevOps engineer কি করে, cloud engineer যে কি করে, এটা যদি কেউ বুঝতে পারে, then it will be much easier to learn what he needs to learn. So basically, just in a short, like as you said, like we're operators, so we're just assisting the development team and operation teams to move forward so that we can deliver the product, right? We're giving them the like আমার টিমের মধ্যে like আমরা কি করতেছি, just we're making sure that যত infrastructure লাগে, right, developer develop করার জন্য and product delivery করার জন্য, whatever they want, we can provide them based on their needs. In high level, that's what we are doing. And when something breaks, we are there to like find out the root cause and solve it. That's what.
That's a general, general
10 seconds thing,
very general perspective on that. That's what it is. Even, let me be very honest, right? Being a builder, right? We build things, which is true. But do we really innovate something exclusive all the time? Not 10% engineer does it. Out of like 100 engineers, maybe 5 and 10% engineers, they do build something exclusively different. But all other people, we do move things here and there. We know how to fix what to fix. We know where to go, and even we don't know, we know how to find it. Right? So some of our fear, cloud or cloud computing is a heavy term. DevOps is a heavy term. It's a heavy term because we made it heavy. If we don't make it heavy, people are not going to give us more money. It's jokes.
But also, it is heavy actually. When you look into a team, right? Like আমাদের টিমের মধ্যে আমরা 3 জন cloud engineer and maybe we have like 20 developers. So I'm not pumping myself, but they see people cloud engineer team a little bit different than developer team or other team, because without us they cannot survive somehow. So that way, like like we have some value in the company that provide uniqueness, right? So okay, I'm not getting into that actual product that we are building, but we're building something that without the cloud team they cannot survive. So that way, like they're a little bit respected more than other. I'm not saying that we are someone superior, but we have some value in the company.
Yeah, it has like
you know?
importance, right? So I'll make it like
Yeah.
better, right? I'll make it nicer here. So the thing is that a DevOps engineer or a cloud engineer is a generalist. That's what we say.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? So when we say generalist, it means you have a diverse exposure to many technologies. You need to have, not you have. If you don't learn, you don't have. You will have to learn a diverse level of, knowledge in terms of cloud services if you want to support your team. Now, whereas a developer who is developing applications, yes, they also have to have, but as they are not involved in day-to-day operations, they really have to focus on the piece they are working on.
Specific task.
Yeah. If they are just developing. Now, a solution architect can be a different definition, right? A senior engineers, that can have a different definitions, but still, they are not generalist. But being a DevOps engineer, you have to be generalist. That means technology generalist. That's what people says. That means you may not have to be master in everything, but you must have to have exposure, knowledge in many things. Otherwise, you cannot really survive or sustain in your work, right?
True.
So one thing I know, which I am aware, so I wanted to understand, I want our audience also to know that after you finish the program, you did some of the projects by your own, you did exercise and practice and whatnot, but I also know you did some more courses by your own, right? Can you just highlight few things you feel like these few things was really helpful and I did few more these other things?
So যখন আমরা ক্লাস করেছিলাম ইজান স্কুলের ক্লাস কোর্স, সো আমার একটু গ্যাপ ছিল, রাইট? ওই যে বললাম যে 4 মাস শেষ করার পরে দেন কিছুদিন আগে ছিলাম, আবার চলে গেছি, অলরেডি একটা গ্যাপ হয়ে গেছিলো ওভার 6 মান্থ অর সামথিং। তো ওই সময় লাইক অনেক কিছু যা শিখছি অনেক অলরেডি চলে গেছে, কারণ অ্যাপ্লাই করা হয় না, রাইট? কারণ সবসময় টাচে থাকা হয় নাই, কারণ যে মোটিভেশনটা ফ্লাকচুয়েট করে। সো ওই সময় আমি ইউটিউবে একটা রিসোর্স ফলো করতাম, প্লাস ইউটিউবে থেকে একটা কোর্স নিয়েছিলাম। সো অ্যান্ড আই ডিড ফিউ আদার প্রজেক্ট। সো আমি এটাই ইউটিউবে একজনের ফলো করি, হি ইজ এ ডেভঅপস ইঞ্জিনিয়ার। সো ওর একটা ফুলি কোর্স ছিল ডেভঅপস ইঞ্জিনিয়ার AWS-এর, আমি ওইটা করি। তারপরে ওদের একটা ছিল আজুরের ক্লাস কোর্স ছিল, ওইটা করি। অ্যান্ড দেন অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমি দুটো প্রজেক্ট করি সাথে, CI/CD প্রজেক্ট করি, লাইক এন্ড টু এন্ড প্রজেক্ট, সো দ্যাট লাইক ওইটা রিলেট করা যায় সব কিছুর সাথে। বিকজ DevOps-এর কয়েকটা অ্যাপ্রোচ আছে, লাইক কিছু আছে টুল স্পেসিফিক, কিছু আছে লাইক সিস্টেম্যাটিক অ্যাপ্রোচ, রাইট? সো আই অলসো কয়েকটা টুল স্পেসিফিক প্রজেক্ট ফিনিশ করছি, যেটা আসলে কথা বলার জন্য আর কি, রাইট? যেটা আপনি বলছেন যে DevOps জার্নালিস্ট, সো দে নিড টু নো লাইক ডাইভার্স থিংস, দে মাইট নিড টু বি মাস্টার অ্যাট অল দ্য থিংস, বাট অ্যাট লিস্ট টু নো সামথিং, রাইট? সো যে প্রজেক্টগুলো করছিলাম ওটার মধ্যে লাইক আমার জেনকিন্সের এক্সপোজার ছিল CI/CD-র জন্য, রাইট? তারপরে অ্যানসিবল ছিল, টেরাফর্ম ছিল, সো ডকার ইউজ করছি, কুবারনেটিস ইউজ করছি। সো ওই যে যখন রিক্রুটারে কল দেয়, দে লুক ফর সাম কিওয়ার্ড, রাইট? সো যখন রিক্রুটারে কল দেয় ইন্টারভিউ করার সময়, সো দে হ্যাভ সাম চেকলিস্ট, অ্যান্ড ওয়েন দে see or hear this keyword from your resume or your current project, or if you can just justify whatever you have done, your projects, then they get interested to talk more with you and maybe next round যাওয়ার জন্য। সো যে কোর্স করছিলাম ইউটিউব থেকে বা ইউডিএমি থেকে, অ্যান্ড দেন কয়েকটা প্রজেক্ট করছিলাম সেলফ লার্ন প্রজেক্ট, সো ওইগুলো হেল্প করছিল বেসিক্যালি। অ্যান্ড দেন কজ ইজান স্কুলে আমার ফাউন্ডেশন হয়ে গেছিল, রাইট? আমি প্রথমে বলছি, রাইট? সো নো ওয়ান ইজ গোনা স্পুন ফিড ইউ। সো অ্যান্ড actually Izaan school helped me to like learn how to learn or how to solve problem. So that's what you need, because market is diverse, technology is like changing, so whatever you're learning today, it might not be relevant after a few years, 2 years. And if you have like 2 years gap, 1 year gap, then you have to learn new things or you'll forget. It's not like something যে আপনি শিখছেন একবার এটা দিয়ে সারা জীবন চালা দেবেন এমন কিছু না।
No.
Like you finish
and
your
even
work,
the project to project, the things are different.
Yeah, project to project things are different, right? So we always need to learn and keep up with new learning and stuff. So যে ইজান স্কুলে যেটা শিখছি, like foundations clear হয়েছে, AWS এ অনেক like I'm not master AWS because no one can be master, like I had some. I have built my foundations in AWS from Izaan school, and then using like other external resources, ওই foundation database strong হয়েছে, and then taking like another cloud, which helped me to like apply for multi-cloud roles. That also যে একটু opportunity বেশি broad up করছে. So এগুলোই করা হয়েছে mainly আপনার কোর্সের
Right.
পর আর
So
কি.
when you did like Azure, right? So you did some Azure learning by your own, which I'm aware, right? You just mentioned.
Yeah.
Like you were able to relate the things you learned in AWS.
Yeah, so this is interesting, right? So আমরা প্রথমে কথা বলতেছিলাম ফাউন্ডেশন নিয়ে, রাইট? যে ইউনিট লাইক নেটওয়ার্কিং, লিনাক্স, স্ক্রিপ্টিং, everything, right? Virtualizations, okay. Now these are like foundations to get into DevOps, okay. So then when it comes to DevOps, now you have to choose the cloud. Which cloud you want to go for? You can choose AWS, Azure, GCP. This I think they're বেশি popular. AWS হচ্ছে বেশি মার্কেট শেয়ার আছে, সো স্টিল লাইক ইউ হ্যাভ মোর চান্সেস যদি আপনি AWS জবের জন্য, বাট Azure ইজ বিকামিং ভেরি পপুলার। সো যাই হোক, সো রিলেট করার জন্য অল ক্লাউডস আর সেম, ইট জাস্ট দ্য নেমিং কনভেনশনস। সো আমি যখন ইজান স্কুল AWS এর কোর্স করার পরে যখন আমি করলাম Azure কোর্স, ভিডিও দেখা শুরু করলাম, প্র্যাকটিস করা শুরু করলাম, then I could relate because like just to name some services, right? For example, we say in AWS like we have S3 bucket, right? আপনার ইসের মধ্যে আসলে গিয়ে আমার স্টোরেজ অ্যাকাউন্ট Azure এর মধ্যে, right? To be specific, blob storage. So services, things, everything is same.
So you were able to relate this.
Just the naming conventions, right? You have like AWS EC2 instances, or there is a virtual machine, or the name এটা, right?
Yeah, just different
Different naming conventions.
Yeah, so there are many services. The reason why I asked this question, right? I want this information to be out for the people, those who are up there, right? I personally advocate a single cloud expertise. I do not advocate multi-cloud expertise when you are in the course. But the reason is, as you mentioned, that you can relate.
Yeah.
So when you have a good hold in one cloud, you can now start relating with other cloud as you get some opportunity.
Right.
Just to give you insight, right? Our 6 months program, we now added Azure as a module.
That's
So
good.
we said now you can at least claim, you can now, let's say those 10 services we are picking, which they can relate with Azure so that they can pick up faster. They do not have to spend that much time what they spend there. So now that can be in your portfolio saying that, hey, I know Azure and I build these things using Azure.
No, এটা খুবই একটা ভালো একটা অ্যাপ্রোচ, কারণ এক্সপার্টিসের জন্য ঠিক আছে, প্রথম শুরু করার জন্য one cloud is way better, no doubt about this, but just to have your portfolio stronger, it's better to have another cloud exposure. That really helps, because there are so many other companies, especially small companies, they go for multi-cloud approach or they start with Azure, because অনেক কর্পোরেশনের জন্য যে মাইক্রোসফটের প্রোডাক্ট তারা অলরেডি ইউজ করে, সো ওই ক্ষেত্রে তাদের জন্য easier to just adapt or switch. So even if you learn AWS with Izaan School, then you can just relate to another cloud. It's just naming conventions. If you think that way, it's much easier. than
Yeah,
another cloud.
like to simplify, I think I agree with your statement, right?
Yeah.
There are some differences how they do it, things in the back, but
Yeah.
overall in general, if you are learning, if you wanted to learn the cloud and use it, operate it, it's just a different operating process.
Yeah.
If you overall understand it, there will be still BPCs, there will be still networking, there will be still like fundamentals, no one can change
Concept
at
are
this
same.
point.
Just
So
concept are same. Yeah.
there will be different serverless services and whatnot, right? But
Definitely.
but gaining one expertise and then relating with that. So we just said, okay, this time we are offering to the fresher this. So then they do not have a fear of exploring Azure.
Yeah.
Not everyone can really, starting new is always people has that fear, right? আপনার একটা ভয় থাকে, right?
যদি ক্লাসে অলরেডি তারা Azure সম্বন্ধে জানে, then তারা আরো
একটু
বেশি
সহজ
এক্সপ্লোর
হয়ে
করতে
যায়,
পারবে।
লাইফটা সহজ হয়ে যায়, right?
অথবা তারা যদি শুনে Azure এর জন্য আমার কল করছে, like, oh, Azure কি এটা আবার? It's a different thing. So
Yeah, that gain a confidence.
Yeah.
So I think one of the thing I wanted to talk at this point is your LinkedIn activities, right? If you remember, I think we suggested that you keep talking about things you are doing in the class, right? And I think you are one of the person who kept that commitment. Not everyone were able to keep it.
yeah.
Tell us, was it useful? If it was useful, how it was useful?
Yeah, so আমি এটা অনেকে বলি, এটা অনেক আন্ডার এস্টিমেট করে ইউজিং লিঙ্কডিন, রাইট? সো লিঙ্কডিন ইজ অনেক পাওয়ারফুল টুল. It can be a tool for like making connections and jobs.
Yeah,
right?
just to give you
To find
data,
a
there
job.
are 7.5 million professionals in LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Just to give you data.
Yeah, it just for যারা LinkedIn use করে না, to make it simpler, LinkedIn হলো just professional their Facebook. Okay, so they just hang out there and find. So the people who are looking for work, they're looking for job, and same way there's recruiters, they're looking for you. So it's just a matchmaking site for jobs. Okay, and আরেকটা ব্যাপার হলো যে LinkedIn হলো আপনার like if you like a company, like you have maybe top 5 company that you want to work for, make connections. That's I used to do. I have like connections with like the company that I used to like, that I want to work for. আমি তো আসলে কথা বলতাম, right? তোমাদের কি any openings আছে কিনা, but in general just to have a chat so they could give their perspective. So যেটা আপনি কোশ্চেন করছেন, so
Like you used to write
Yeah.
the project, like we
So-
suggested you write about the projects,
Yeah.
give a description. This is what you're learning, right?
yeah, so আমি এটাই করতাম যে like আমরা যে নতুন কিছু শিখছি, ওকে, সো আই সে লাইক আমি যে কাজটা করছি এটা একটু প্রফেশনাল ওয়েতে জাস্ট পোস্ট করা, অ্যান্ড দেন আদার যে ডেভেলপস ইঞ্জিনিয়ার আছে তাদের সাথে কানেক্ট হওয়া. সো এটা কি করে যে আপনাকে যখন আপনার লাইক ইফ ইউ কিপ ডুইং দিস ফর 3 months, then you may have maybe like if you even post like 3 posts in a week, in a month, like even 10 posts in a month, in 3 months আপনার অনেক পোস্ট হয়ে গেছে, রাইট? যদি আপনি লেটস সে 50 পোস্ট 3 মাসে, and you made it like I don't know
50 connections.
1,000 connections. Now you can have like I used to get like a lot of so first it's very tough, but once you keep posting and you start connecting with the DevOps engineers or cloud engineers or in your domain, it gets very easier, and also it attracts. So LinkedIn algorithm helps you to like whenever someone any
Search.
recruiter searches for you, it like shows you on the top.
Yeah. So like one of the fear freshers have, those who are turning into, you might have seen with people, right? They have fear of talking in LinkedIn. And I know the reason. Many of us knows the reason. But imagine you are in a profession, you are trying to switch, you can learn new things. There is no problem at all. You are learning new thing and you are talking about this. Is there any problem? Zero problem. You are helping community. You are inspiring others to learn that. You are letting people know that I'm learning this. I'm excited about it. Some people might find it more exciting. They may find inspiration out of your activities. Now, by talking about your own work, you actually build your audience and you build a credibility. আপনি মানুষের মাঝে একটা গ্রহণযোগ্যতা ক্রিয়েট করলেন. আমি যখন আপনার লিঙ্কডইন প্রোফাইলে ক্লিক করব, আমি তো 10টার বেশি পোস্টের নিচে যেতে পারবো না,
Right.
আমার আসলে তো সময় নেই.
Right.
কিন্তু আমি যদি লাস্ট 10টা পোস্টও দেখি যে ওকে, দিস গাই টক্স অ্যাবাউট DevOps, this guy talks about career coaching and whatnot, people already have an impression about you. And this is important. In a poor market, this is extremely important. In a good market, it is still important, I would say.
Right.
Because that's how people find confidence to talk to you. That's how people find confidence to give you a chance to be interviewed. You need a chance, right? How do you get the chance?
Yeah.
Maybe you text someone or someone is texting you, they got through the LinkedIn, but before even they texted you, technically when they found your profile, they went to your post.
Definitely.
They went to your profile. What this guy is doing? Oh, he's very excited about DevOps. He's very excited about cloud. He's very excited about Azure or AWS and whatnot. That gives them a clear indication. And one thing is important, I think, is to call out here, right? Wherever you learn a program, you cannot be prepared for all DevOps role.
Never.
If you imagine, if someone promise you that you will be prepared for all DevOps role, it's not a right promise. So that is why some programs are designed to teach you everything and you end up with learning nothing.
I agree.
Because there will be, let's say 50 DevOps role you will see, and 10 out of 50, your resume gonna match. Because it is a very diverse role. You have to understand, company to company, this role changes drastically. The technology changes, the things their expectation changes, right? In many companies, they will expect you to be able to be a very good developer, right? If you, that puts you in an upper hand if you really know programming. If you do not know good level of programming, that puts you in a little bit bad situation. But again, as I'm trying to say that you cannot be prepared for all 50 roles or all 100 roles. You have, so as you talk your knowledge, people really get to know what is your expertise, what is your knowledge, and which area you are interested in, right? A person cannot be in one time interested in everything. That person
No.
is like আমরা কি বলি বাংলায় জগা খিচুড়ি বলি, right? It's kind of jogga khichuri situation. But again, I think it has been pleasure talking to you. But before I let you go, is there anything you wanted to let our audience know? Any suggestion? Anything? Any wisdom maybe?
সো আমরা অনেক কথা বললাম, সো এর মধ্যে অনেক কিছু উঠে আসছে, বাট আমি বলবো যে যারা আইটিতে ঢুকতে চান, ক্লাউডে ঢুকতে চান, জাস্ট স্টার্ট, ডোন্ট ডিলে. Jahid Bhai is here, so I mean, I think our new course is coming very soon.
Yeah, this month, middle of this month.
Yeah. So yeah, try for maybe, can they try for like 2 or 3 weeks for free, or like
they try for 2 weeks?
Oh,
which
so
is 4 classes.
that's good. So তাহলে 2 সপ্তাহ ট্রাই করো, যদি ভালো লাগে, like they will start, and inshallah, like as I said, কেউ স্পুন ফিট করবে না, but I can assure, like you will learn how to learn things or how to solve problems, and that's you need. Real world day, like you will not have anything common. Every day you will see new problems. Like whatever I'm solving in my current project, I don't know anything, but I'm solving. I mean, so that's how things work, right? So, I mean, that's how you solve problems. It doesn't matter how experienced engineer you are, you always like solve new problems. That's why they
hire you.
right?
That's why they pay you for every day an
Yeah.
hour, even you maybe sometimes you're sleeping at that.
Yeah. So if you want to be in cloud, you start learning fundamentals, and then, or just as you said, 6-month course starts with the fundamental opportunity, right? So yeah, just take a start from here. So, and any questions you guys may have, like how I learned those utilize the extra resources, or what I have done throughout the courses, just maybe comment in this post. I can even reply.
Yeah.
Or get in touch with Jahid Bhai. I think he has one-on-one session too. Like book a session with him. You don't have to pay, just to book a session.
Yeah,
Talk to him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely you can reach out any of us. That's perfectly fine. But apart from that's definitely but or find someone else.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, whoever you find interest, right? Yeah.
But the thing is that changing your life is important. If you are now sitting down, or maybe just thinking and dreaming and not really doing the real work, that's not gonna help.
Get your things, get your hands dirty.
Yeah, get your hands dirty.
Then,
that's important, right? So that's a good call out. But apart from that, any other thing you wanted to share to them in terms of, like, if I think there are many people, they are up there in the market, maybe not in this role, maybe some other role, right? As the situation is not that good, you got job in this bad time, which is great. Which is fabulous, and there are some traction, there are some good jobs, but there are also many people struggling. Do you have few words for them?
So market সবার জন্য যে ভালো থাকবে সবসময় মনে হয়, মার্কেট অলওয়েজ লাইক there is ups and downs, and আমার লাস্ট রোল কিন্তু বেশি দিন হয় না, রাইট? সো এটা মার্কেটের ওয়ার্স্ট সময় আমি পাইছি এটা. Even the previous role was after COVID. That time also people said market was bad. I don't know. So our last role was like when market was bad. So it just keep applying and try to upskill always. Like whatever you learn from a course, be it like Izaan school or any other schools, you're not, as he mentioned, like you cannot be prepared for every DevOps role, but just upskill, learn new things, relate to that, prepare for interview, API interview. Just keep applying. Maybe you just need one job, right? One call. Like there is like, if you even search in LinkedIn or any in job portal, maybe there's like thousands of jobs even today. You just need one call, one shot, and if Allah has it written for you, you'll get it. But just try your best. If you don't try, then we're not gonna get it. We can just blame, but
Yeah,
just
that's true.
And I think you also offer job applications services, right? For marketing.
Yeah, so we do have.
That's also another service they can utilize. Those who are in the market are not like related to Izaan school, so they can also utilize that. So by doing so, even though I didn't use that, but I knew like there are a couple people they have got, even Amazon interview they have gotten from him. So this program will also help you to get the interviews, right? So you just talk to them and they will market you in a way that you don't have to manually apply for yourself. So all you have to do just like maybe just pick up the recruiter calls, and if it matches your interest, go for the steps. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're referring to our internal tool, what we built.
Yeah, I don't know
last
much
year.
more about this, but yeah, I think
Yeah,
you told me
the
before
last
the
year.
show.
Yeah, so we built that's under one of our digital marketing effort. We built some I would say job hunting gun, right? So we can really hunt jobs in a very scalable manner. That's one thing. And also last year we launched our recruiting firm, which is Connect Talents, where we do full-time recruiting actually. But that has nothing to do with our training. But if we really have qualified people and we have right opportunity, we definitely refer them in that direction. But that's a completely different, pool of work we do. But again, thank you for calling out all that. I appreciate your time, and I hope our audience will get some benefit out of this discussion. I know some of you may think this is a pure, talking about our own story. It is a true story. If you want to validate it, contact to Brother Masud, talk to his friends, those who know him. This is we hasn't made it up, and those who are known to me, known to my activities, they knows this is not what we do, right? If this story inspires you, এটা যদি আপনাকে ইন্সপায়ার করে, আপনাকে সামনের জীবনে ভালো কিছু করার সুযোগ করে দেয়, আমরা মনে করব যে আমাদের এই সময়টুকু ব্যয় করা এখানে সার্থক। এবং আই থিঙ্ক এটাই সবচেয়ে বড় সার্থকতা এই সময়ের, রাইট? আপনার মধ্যে যদি এতটুকু চিন্তার আমরা খোরাক দিতে পারি যে there are better things to do, there are more challenges to take, right? আপনার ক্যাপাসিটি আছে এবং why not I should try to take a challenge, right? Like brother Masud, right? Whether it is with us, whether it is with someone else, আপনাকে এই জিনিসটা অবশ্যই বুঝতে হবে যে time is changing, tide has shifted. You have to gain better skills. If you do not jump into this wagon of learning expensive skills, you are gonna be falling behind. আপনি পিছনে পড়ে যাবেন। সো আপনি কেন পিছনে পড়ে যাবেন? আপনাকে তো আরো সামনের দিন থাকতে হবে। আর আপনার যে বুদ্ধি আছে, আপনার যেই অ্যাবিলিটি আছে, আপনার এই অ্যাবিলিটিটাকে সম্মান করা আপনার দায়িত্ব। আপনি যদি আপনার অ্যাবিলিটিকে সম্মান না করেন, এটা আপনার ব্যর্থতা, রাইট? এখন এটা আপনি কিভাবে করবেন, কোন রিসোর্স ইউজ করবেন, এটা একান্তই আপনার ব্যাপার। আমরা একটা রিসোর্স হতে পারি, বাট আমরাই একমাত্র রিসোর্স না। ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।